Welcome back to Side Hustle Rules. My name is Lou Reyes, and today I am outside, as you can plainly see. I'm actually in the Metro Parks, which is what we call the park system in my neck of the woods. And I just thought I'd get out again today because I've been in the office. I just feel like I've been in the office way too much, and sometimes I just need to get out, especially early in the morning like now. And you might be able to hear the birds chirping, and there's a woodpecker not far from here. But what I want to do right now is tell you how you can overcome the fear of cold calling. And I've been cold calling, it's maybe been 20 years, 25 years that I've been cold calling. And some people I know will say how much they hate cold calling or they don't want to cold calling. I know lots of sales reps that it's not their favorite thing to do, but for me, I actually do enjoy cold calling, and I enjoy cold calling for a few reasons. One, it's definitely rewarding when you're successful. I also enjoy cold calling just because I like meeting people. I like talking to people. I find that very, very fun, and it's ironic that I find it fun and I enjoy meeting people because as a kid growing up, I was extremely shy and I was basically a bookworm. I always kept my nose in a book. I didn't want to really talk to a lot of people. But over time, as I got older and as I realized that the people that were really making money and that seemed to be pretty successful, at least the people that I observed, were definitely outgoing and friendly and they had a personality. So what I did is I just decided I'm going to learn how to communicate and I'm going to be a great communicator. So in this video, what I want to do is I just want to tell you some of the process, some of the steps that I've taken to become a cold caller and to become somebody who enjoys it. And I think it always starts when you're cold calling. I really do think it starts with just accepting the fact that I've got a cold call, whether you're hired or you're working for somebody, or maybe like me, when I was younger, I had a business and the only way I could bring in sales was to get out knocking on doors, making phone calls. So accepting the fact that this is what you got to do, is what you have to do, I think is really extremely important. The second thing that I also believe is important is committing to the process. And when I say committing to the process, what I'm saying is committing to learning about cold calling, committing to practicing. I almost want to say the art of cold calling, but you've got to commit to this whole process, and it does take some time. You're not going to become a great cold caller overnight. I maybe some people do, but in my sphere, I don't know many people that were automatically just great cold callers. I know there are people out there, though, that are super at cold calling. The other step that I believe is important is practicing. If you want to overcome this fear of cold calling, there's no better way to overcome this fear than to get out and practice. And when I say practice, I mean you can do something like going to a mall, a shopping plaza, shopping strip, and just talking to the clerk who is trying to sell an item to you, and really just seeing how you can communicate and how effectively you communicate. And that is actually something that I read years ago when I was trying to figure out how can I cold call, how can I become a great cold caller. I just went to areas where I knew there was a lot of traffic, a lot of people, and I forced myself to walk up to somebody and talk to them and just try to get to know them. I think that is very important, is the art of practicing. Now, the other thing, and I guess this would be number 4, is you really have to come up with a plan. And I always had a sales plan. Even when I was started out in my life, in my first business, I was a graphic designer. I knew I had to make sales, so I just wrote down on my plan. This is what I'm going to do every day. Every day I'm going to make X amount of calls, phone calls, and every single day what I'm going to do is I'm going to jot down the calls I make, and then at the end of the week I will go ahead and I'll tally up the calls and see how many sales I made. I would call every morning, and I'd get up, go into my office, my small little office, and I would start at 9 o'clock calling people. Sometimes I would start at 10, but usually I would start at 9 and call till 11:30 every single day, 5 days a week. Now, if I didn't have any sales at all for that week, say by Tuesday or Wednesday, if I had no sales, what I would do is I'd also cold call in the afternoon. And that would cut into some of my production time because I was a graphic designer and I had to do my work. But if I didn't have the sales come in, my plan was you got to have at least 3 sales. And I was 3 sales a week, because 3 sales a week is what I knew. I calculated what I knew revenue-wise, and I was looking at how much my average sale would be. But every day I committed for a certain amount of time. I made a certain amount of calls. I tallied every day, every single day, and at the end of the week I looked back and said, okay, what did I do? What can I do to improve my sales? And I would look back and I would make my adjustments. Now, one thing I will say, and this is something that I know all of us who are longtime salespeople, I think we'd agree, when you have success, now that's a self-motivator. When you start seeing sales come in and you start counting the money, and you think to yourself, I'm really able to sell. I'm able to bring in sales. And I'm able to bring in sales because I cold called. That success is a self-motivator. Now, I want to say a couple things that are very important when it comes to selling. Is number one, you do have to believe in your product. You've got to have a great product. And I mentioned that I was doing graphic design. Well, I knew I had some skills as a graphic designer. I knew people liked what I did for them, so I believed in myself. I believed in my product. But I also believed that my product was helping people. I knew that my designs could generate sales for the companies that I was cold calling. So it was easy for me to get on the phone and say, hi, my name is Lou Reyes. I'm with whatever the company was. I had a company, I think it was called Wizard Advertising. So I get on the phone and I say, hi, this is Lou Reyes with Wizard Advertising. I'm right down the street from you. And I'm wondering if I could stop by and show you some of the graphic design work I do. And I would just basically make up a pitch, write down that pitch on a script, and I would contact the companies, and I'd go ahead and try to get in the door. But more often than not, I would get a no, but you'd always get a yes if you did enough calls. So that's just a quick little tip to you there in terms of understanding that you've got a great product, believing in that product, and knowing that you can help somebody. You got to really commit to that customer, because if you can't help that customer, you're not going to be successful. So that's my my tips for today. That's my way of overcoming the fear of cold calling. And it really does start with accepting the fact that you've got a cold call. Then you've got to commit to that whole process. And I find that a lot of people, they don't commit enough time. But when you accept it, you commit, you practice, and then you dedicate yourself to the art, to the craft, you can be successful. So that's my tip for you today. If you would, consider subscribing to Side Hustle Rules. Also, I want to mention I do have a Side Hustle Starter Kit. If you're somebody out there and you're thinking about starting a business, I have a free Side Hustle Starter Kit. There is a link in the description box. That's all I got for you today, folks. Have a great day, everybody. Come on!